قلبي غير الله الله الله. वो तन्हा कौन है अल्लाह अल्लाह, बादशाह वो कौन है अल्लाह अल्लाह, मेहरबा वो कौन है अल्लाह अल्लाह, क्या ऊंची शान.
Alhamdulillah for the award given to Sheikh Ahmed Lemu. What we know of him is that he has been a very renowned Muslim scholar who has worked tirelessly almost throughout his life propagating Islam through his publications, through his preachings, and through his constant preachings, calling people together to embrace Islam, and then seeking for also peaceful coexistence between our neighbors, the Christians and the Muslims. So it's a wonderful, it's a well-deserved achievement.
On Tuesday, the 8th of April 2014, Alhaji Dr. Sheikh Ahmed Lemu, a renowned Islamic scholar who recently bagged the prestigious King Faisal International Award for his selfless service to Islam, paid a courtesy visit to the chief servant of Niger State, Dr. Maaz Babangida Aliyu Talba Mina, and members of his executive council to show appreciation to the chief servant on the contributions he made towards the success of his award ceremony in Saudi Arabia. Sheikh Ahmed Lemu also thanked the entire people of Niger State and Nigerians at large for their support. Sheikh Ahmed Lemu, who is also the Chairman Council of Trustees, Islamic Relief Commission Office, clinched the award for his efforts towards education, development, and call to Islam, particularly his defense of Muslim women's rights and his initiatives to combat extremism in Nigeria. The program, which took place at the council chamber of the State House, had in attendance the Deputy Governor of Niger State, Honorable Ahmed Musa Ibeto, the SSG, Alhaji Ndako Baki, the Chief of Staff, Joshua Bauer, the Honorable Commissioner for Information, Professor Yahya Kuta, among other members of the Executive Council. Sheikh Ahmed Lemu, who paid the visit in company of his daughter, Mariam Lemu, was overwhelmed by the warm reception by the Chief Servant, Dr. Maaz Babangida Aliyu, and his subordinates in the State House. Recipients of the King Faisal International Prize, Sheikh Ahmed Lemu, expressed satisfaction with the response of Niger State government under the leadership of Dr. Maaz Babangida Aliyu in regards to his award ceremony.
The Chief Servant of Niger State, Your Excellency, Deputy Chief Servant, the Governor, all the commissioners, all the other prominent members here, everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Really, I'm here with a representative of my family. The others are not in town. One is in the dialogue, or what do you call it? National dialogue. The other is the senior officer in our embassy in India. Okay. The other one is Saudi Arabia. So, alhamdulillah, I'm glad to come at least to the one of them, Mariam, to represent all the others.
Very stand up.
Thank you very much. To come and thank Your Excellency, your staff, and the whole people of Niger State as well as Nigeria as represented by the Vice President at the award ceremony. But for you to understand my deep appreciation and sincerity, I remember when I was there, in Saudi Arabia, somebody asked me the question among the interview, what do you think has earned you this award? I say, I don't know. But certain things happened in my life which has proved Allah right. Number one, as far back as 1949, I was sent, after finishing my secondary school, I was sent to Sharia Law School camp for 4 years. At that time, specialization was in Arabic, Islamic studies, and general studies of English. Then I became a teacher. Then I got a scholarship to go to the University of London in 1954, exactly 60 years ago. Bear in mind that I was brought up from staunch Muslim parents. From father's side, from my mother's side, they are staunch Muslims. And I grew up with the same attitude, the same mentality. But it was in 1954 that I had an interesting exposure. We were all put in British Council student, Commonwealth Students' Hostel. And then a number of English youth or British youth were mixed with us to interact. Then one day, I remember the chap, an English young man called Mark, met me in the corridor of the hostel and gave me a copy of an off-print of Gospel of Mark, Gospel of John, or the Bible. While I was brought up in an atmosphere that it was even considered haram to touch the Bible, there it is, somebody sliding an off-print of Gospel of John to me, paper cover. Okay. Reluctantly, I started reading it. I said, Jesus said this, Jesus said that, Jesus said this, Jesus said that. It was mental revolution. All the negative thoughts I had about Christianity on the spot started changing for better. I said, more is to come. To cut the story short, I returned, carried on with my teaching, everything, and so forth. Then decided to broaden my knowledge and deepen my knowledge. I decided to go back to the same university to specialize in BA Honors History. When I went back, this time, interest to know more about Christianity had already been kindled. There was a bookshop in London called Foyle's Bookshop, considered to be the largest in the whole world. They display used books, second-hand books, at the entrance. In the course of examining those books, I saw an old red script Bible. Naturally, I was interested, cheap, more or less like takeaway. I bought it. So that everything that came from the tongue of Jesus is printed in red. Everything else from the Gospels in blue. So that made my task easy. I was reading through the red versions of what he said. Gospel of Mark, Gospel of John, Gospel of all the four Gospels. That turned me completely neutral. I said, God orders that we must believe in Jesus. If you don't believe in Jesus as a Muslim, you are not a complete Muslim. Now, I think I'm a complete Muslim. That was in 1960 onwards. The interesting thing is, my attitude to Christianity, to Christians and so forth was different. But during those 4 years, when I went back in 1960, specializing in history, I was attending Bible study group, voluntary Bible study group downstairs in the basement of our school, where the pastor, Reverend Pastor, would come. We studied Bible. They thought I was a Christian, and I didn't reveal that I was a Muslim. And I was gaining direct information, and I started seeing the way the clerics handled the Bible, the way Jesus handled his remarks, and so forth. I have different approach, different attitude to Christians. And I thought that's what I will collect in my life. So when coup came, I said to myself, what brought about all this? And this is my feeling towards Christians. Now we are in a civil war in 1969. So I spoke to my English wife. I said, Aisha, this is my feeling about Christianity and about Christians. But look at what has done, happened and plunged us into terrible civil war. What shall we do? I encourage some other Muslim organizations. This is the way forward. So suddenly my wife said, why don't we establish our own organization and do what we want others to do on our behalf? By 3 of us, Alassane and Sheikh Suleiman was there. He was, I believe, Talbanese. He was my former student. He done his degree in America and so forth. And when I was transferred to Sokoto, I met him as a member of staff. When he saw me, my father had come. And he embraced him. And we became very close. So one Aisha said, why can't we form our own organization and do what we want others to do for unity, solidarity, peaceful coexistence, mutual understanding among all Nigerians? He said, why not? I said, when? He said, now. And the IHE started by 3 of us. So as we started, we resorted to what is called strategic planning. Slowly but surely, it worked. Where are we now? Where do we want to be as a nation? How do we get there? So we started little by little, like Sokoto City, because we were hiding definitely from Sultan Abu Bakr. Until one day, we couldn't hide. We had to go to him. And when we narrated the whole story to him, he said, a wannan kasa tamu, aka kai inda aka kai dinnan ba mu da labari, to ta ku ta zo daga wajen Allah, Allah kuma shi shiga. I felt like flying. She came up, one, then we covered the whole northwestern state. On the return of Dr. Jibrin Olekan from London, we spread it to Lagos, established the office there. Then came Niger State. Then we spread it to the Adamawa. To cut it short, that's how we started spreading in Nigeria. In the course of our programs now, we feel that Nigeria is not allowed. We are talking of Muslim world. So we started spreading our mission, first to Sudan, or before Sudan, to Australia. That is over 10, 15 years ago. Then to Sudan, International Islamic University of Africa. Then to Bahrain, then to Philippines, then to Malaysia, etc., etc. To spread the same mission that something is wrong with human beings. Clerics, Muslims and Christians, have one problem. Few of them know the contents of their holy books. Few of them are willing to follow the contents of their holy books. Many of them are misleading the so-called their sheep. And that's what brought about Boko Haram and all these other things. Unfortunately, I was exposed to reality. When from Babangida's regime, I was exposed to several committees by every successful president, either as a chairman or as a committee member, all bordering on security. From there, I was able to see the reality of Nigeria and the reasons of insecurity in Nigeria, and was able to come back to the drawing board of our organization. This is the way to tackle the problem of insecurity. I never knew that it would be appealing to other organizations in Nigeria, and very successful. NASFAT in particular, the Muslim Student Society, etc., etc. They are outside the Sudanese now that are calling us to bring people to teach and lecture their students. Bahrain, Malaysia kept Nuru and others for 2 months, etc., etc. So when this matter came, I started wondering who recommended me. To my surprise, it is World Assembly of Muslim Youth, one. Then I discovered that Muslim World League that are handling it, because I am a member of their Supreme Council. Then I discovered the president of the Islamic Development Bank as their handling it. Like that, I got to know who and who are the key members and why they recommended me. But it all centered on my mission. Number one, as a Muslim, let us teach authentic teachings of Islam. And people know the true teachings of Islam. Not because of money or leadership or everything. It is our focus, our mission, that what we should do, we shall spread the authentic teachings of Islam. Number two, the youth are innocent. The clerics only point to their heads what they want them to know and give them leadership, give them that, satisfy their greed for money, etc., etc. We have to remedy that. Number three, we must do all that we can to emphasize peaceful coexistence, mutual understanding, and mutual respect. And that's what I'm bent on promoting. So when I discovered what we were doing inside the country and the outside world is now being appreciated, and when I discovered some of the key people who recommended me, I now know that our mission is correct, inshallah, and we started printing books already. Protection of churches, synagogues, and mosques as a booklet. I distributed to members of NIREC. The Christian bishops were surprised. All these booklets, relations with non-Muslims, salam to non-Muslims, all these booklets, we got them in IET, we are distributing them free, especially to non-Muslims. So, I want to assure you that I'm devoting the rest of my life to spreading of true teachings of Islam, not the way it is presented by some Muslim clerics. Number two, to promote mutual understanding between Muslims and Christians, in particular in Nigeria and generally throughout the world. Number three, mutual respect, because I discovered, even from the happenings in Nigeria, that without peace there can't be any progress. We are most grateful to the Chief Servant. At first I was critical of Chief, his SSG. 3 weeks before we go, I was urging him, coordinate with the federal chief, coordinate with federal chief. We met here in Mina. He went to Abuja. Ashe Labaran. To cut it short, I held a meeting with the Deputy Chief of Staff or the Vice President. He's somebody of Gwari protocol. Until I spoke to him on the phone. The person who was posing to be the chief coordinator of the whole thing turned out to be fake. The Vice President told me my the Deputy Chief of Staff is the coordinator. I said, SSG na Naja ya san abin da yake. Daga karshe aka ce su wai sun fiye zai cannot go, or they couldn't go. One is they couldn't go. Even members of my family could not go. Shi kenan. Niger State ba ai su sun wuce. Ya ce to Allah musu albarka. Chief of Staff, Chief Servant kuma Allah ya saka mai duniya da lafiya. Allah ya kara mai basira. Allah ya kara mai jagora. Allah ya kara mai sani. Da duk Niger State baki daya da kuma duk Nigeria baki daya. Wahalar da suka sha consolation, musamman wayanda by road from Jeddah to Riyadh to ensure they don't miss the function. It was fantastic. But Rasulullah said, once you have made your intention to do good, Allah will cause the angels to write the reward of that goodness for you. When you succeed to do it, Allah will cause the angels to multiply the reward 10 times. So may Allah multiply your reward many times in every respect. And may Allah reward every one of you. I'm terribly sorry. It's because of what I feel about the whole affair that I took my time and your time to tell you about myself and the history of the whole thing. Forgive me for taking your time. Forgive me for all that I might say which is not in order. But I pray Allah to forgive all of us and bless all of us. And Chief Servant, what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
The Chief Servant of Niger State, Dr. Maaz Babangida Aliyu Talba Mina, described Sheikh Lemu as the pride of Niger State and Nigeria at large. He went further to recount personal encounters of Sheikh Lemu and his father.
Of Niger, the pride of Nigeria. Because as we understand it, in fact, the King Faisal Award has superseded the Nobel Prize. After going through the history and how we started and the objectives of the prize, we realized that it was very, very important. And Nigeria now have had, Sheikh Ahmed Lemu is the second person. If you recall, Sheikh Gumi was once awarded that prize. And anybody who knows Sheikh Gumi and knows Sheikh Ahmed Lemu can understand the variables that have been used, and you have heard from him how it came about and the kind of contribution that God gave him opportunity to really participate. Those of you, many people have asked me that they noticed I defer so much to Sheikh Ahmed Lemu. And I said, like a teacher, like a parent. If you respect your parents, believe me, you will never fail. And the same thing, if you respect your teachers, you will never fail. Sometimes they don't have to talk. The moment they are happy with you, you're okay. Because the same thing, if they are sad or unhappy with you, even without telling you, the guy, you will see, he cannot took you say, "Come away with that." Motion, no movement. So for me, he was my teacher, he was my principal. And I was so happy that after the ceremony, when I went to Medina, a whole delegation came to me, including some of my schoolmates in the US, because they saw it and they read it in their papers. And they knew he was from Nigeria, and those of them who knew about Niger State came to me to congratulate me. And lucky enough, we have the publication because they never said, we didn't know his name, we didn't know.
Delegates present had this to say about the man of the moment.
All these years. Sir, here we have somebody who is internally convinced about instituting peace between the religions in Nigeria. And I pray that God will continue to guide him to do so.
I think I'm the most proud person today. The coincidence today, I think, is wonderful. I was secretary of Muslim Student Society when I was in the college. And that was when we started knowing our dear father, Sheikh. The most thing that I remembered about Sheikh is that he said, the Muslim prayer is an exercise. It's bending, standing. So even at my age now, 60 over, when I want to sit down to say, I want to pray, I'm tired. When I remember, sir, that you said it's an exercise, I think it's better I stand up and do it well.
The chief servant of Niger State, Dr. Maaz Babangida Aliyu Talba Mina, presented Sheikh Lemu with some publications in honor of the award. The Niger State Government House, where Sheikh Ahmed Lemu, a prominent Islamic scholar who just received the famous King Faisal Award, came to pay a courtesy visit to the executive governor of Niger State, popularly known as the chief servant of Niger State, Dr. Maaz Babangida Aliyu. I am Aisha Ahmed Khatun reporting for Al Africa Islamic Television Channel.
वो तन्हा कौन है अल्लाह